여러분 안녕하세요. 제니입니다. 자, 여러분은 비트코인의 전도사라고 하면 혹시 누가 떠오르시나요? 아마 스트래티지의 CEO 마이클 세일러가 생각나신 분들 계신가요? 오늘은 이 마이클 세일러의 따끈따끈한 최신 인터뷰를 한번 가지고 와봤습니다. 비트코인 기업으로는 최초로 신용등급을 받았다는 소식을 전하면서 올해 연말에 비트코인 가격이 15만 달러까지 갈 거라고 말하는 인터뷰인데요. 장기적으로는 가격이 2천만 불까지 갈 거라고 전망하기도 했습니다. 자, 먼저 간단히 이분에 대해 소개를 드리자면요. 너무나도 이미 유명한 사람이지만 마이클 세일러는 요새 비트코인에 대해 이야기할 때 가장 많이 언급되는 사람 중 하나인데요. 그는 Strategy, 원래 이름은 MicroStrategy에서 이름을 바꾼 회사죠. 이 회사의 창업자 겸 CEO입니다. 모든 CEO들이 요새는 다 천재 출신인 것 같은데 그 역시도 MIT 출신 천재 CEO로 2020년부터 회사의 현금을 비트코인으로 전환하는 당시로서는 굉장히 파격적인 결정을 합니다. 그리고 오늘 인터뷰에서 전통 금융권이 이제 비트코인을 정식 자산으로 인정하기 시작했다라는 것을 강조합니다. 그렇다면 과연 그가 비트코인이 올해 15만 불까지 간다고 말하는 근거가 무엇인지 내용 살펴보겠습니다. 혹시라도 아직 제 채널을 구독하지 않으셨다면 구독과 알림 설정 부탁드립니다. 경제 뉴스나 이메일에 자주 나오는 비즈니스 영어 표현들이 혹시 조금 어렵게 느껴지셨나요? 이런 실제 뉴스나 비즈니스 현장에서 자주 쓰이는 영어 표현들을 자신 있게 이해하고 활용하고 싶으신 분들께 실무에서 진짜 쓰이는 비즈니스 영어 강의를 추천드립니다. 제가 직접 7년 이상 영어로 실무를 했던 경험을 바탕으로 실제 현장에서 바로 쓰이는 표현들만 쏙쏙 뽑아서 쉽게 설명드리는 유일한 강의입니다. 이 강의는 성공적으로 와디즈 펀딩을 마치고 지금은 와디즈 스토어에서 계속 판매 중입니다. 경제 금융 표현들뿐 아니라 실무 비즈니스 이메일, 회의와 협상에서 쓰이는 핵심 표현들, 그리고 원어민이 자주 쓰는 비즈니스 이디엄까지 정말 꼭 알아야 할 내용만 알차게 담았습니다. 지금 바로 확인해보세요.
I'm here with the Executive Chairman of Strategy, Michael Saylor. Thank you so much for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Michael, this is your first interview since the S&P granted its very first rating to a Bitcoin-focused company. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So tell me about this announcement, what the significance is to the industry.
Well, the news just came out today. S&P put out a press release that they've granted, for the first time, to a Bitcoin treasury company a credit rating. So we were rated as a B minus.
Is that fair?
It's a start. We expect to move up in the ratings over time, but we think it's a very auspicious start because it represents institutional adoption of Bitcoin-backed credit. And of course, the most exciting thing we've done this year are 4 IPOs of 4 digital credit instruments: Strike, Strife, Stride, and Stretch of late. And now that we've got an S&P credit rating, that's going to open up the market. There are hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars of capital that won't buy an unrated instrument that can go ahead and acquire a rated credit instrument. So it's really a great day for us and for the entire crypto industry, I think.
우리 US Treasury Department라고 하면 미국 재무부를 의미하죠. 그래서 Treasury라고 하면 재무부, 국고라는 뜻도 있고 미국 국채를 영어로 또 Treasury Bonds라고 말하기도 합니다. 그래서 Bitcoin Treasury Company는 회사의 포트폴리오에서 현금이나 채권 대신에 비트코인을 핵심 자산으로 보유하는 기업을 의미합니다.
Well, the news just came out today. S&P put out a press release that they've granted, for the first time, to a Bitcoin treasury company a credit rating.
간단히 말하자면 회사가 금고에 현금 대신 비트코인을 넣어두고 사업이나 재무 전략을 운영하는 형태죠. 그러니까 회사가 비트코인을 대규모로 사들여서 비트코인 트레저리 회사로 전환을 했다는 겁니다.
But we think it's a very auspicious start.
그리고 여기서 auspicious는 일이 잘 풀릴 징조가 있는 길조를 의미하는데요. 여기서도 좋은 시작이나 좋은 징조라는 의미로 긍정적인 신호일 때 사용됩니다. 보통 이렇게 새로운 정책이나 제도가 긍정적인 영향을 줄 것으로 보일 때 사용되고요. 그래서 예를 들어서 우리가 결혼식 날짜나 이사 가는 날을 정할 때 좋은 날을 택하는 경우 있잖아요. 그럴 때 they chose an auspicious day for their wedding. 결혼식 날짜를 길한 날로 골랐다는 소리입니다. 근데 이 표현은 좀 문어체적인 느낌도 있어서 일상 대화라면 그냥 lucky, 운 좋은 날이라고 말할 수 있습니다.
Because it represents institutional adoption of Bitcoin-backed credit.
자, 생소해 보이는 표현이 등장했습니다. Bitcoin backed credit은 신용상품의 담보 또는 기초자산을 비트코인으로 사용한 크레딧 상품을 의미합니다. backed는 뒷받침하는 것을 의미하니까 비트코인을 담보나 기초자산으로 한다는 거죠. 간단히 말해서 비트코인을 담보로 돈을 빌리거나 비트코인 기반 채권을 발행하는 것이 될 수가 있겠습니다.
Now, for the layman, how should they understand investing in you rebranded since to Strategy, but investing in Strategy, the public equity, versus these four new product offerings you just mentioned?
Well, Bitcoin is the baseline. So what you want is the digital commodity. You would buy Bitcoin because it comes without that counterparty risk. And that's normally been about a 45 vol asset that's returning about 45 to 50% a year. Our equity is amplified Bitcoin. So we actually have more volatility, more like 60, and we've been outperforming Bitcoin. So the people that want more volatility and they want more performance would buy that amplified Bitcoin equity. But there are a lot of people that want half and half. They want some of the upside, a lot less downside, and they want a dividend. And so that's what Strike was created for. It's convertible preferred that gives you long-term upside, but principal protection and an 8% dividend at par. And then there are other people that are long duration credit investors. They buy things like Strife, which is a 10% dividend at par forever, like a 100-year bond or longer. And then for those that want extreme fixed income, they would buy Stride, because Stride is the junior credit instrument, but it yields about 12.5% effective yield, so about 350 basis points more than Strife. And the final one is Stretch. Stretch is a treasury credit instrument. It's for people that don't want they want the minimum volatility. Like, I have money I don't need for 6 months, and then I got to pay my kids' tuition, or I got to pay my taxes, but I don't want to get paid 2% or 3% or less from the bank. So Stretch pays a dividend, which is right now 10.25% at par. It's got most of the volatility of Bitcoin stripped away. It's kind of targeted at 100, and now it trades like 98.70 cents or something. So it's very close to that 100. And what you're getting there is equivalent like a 1-month Bitcoin bond, right? So if you've got a short-term focus and you hate volatility, but you want to get paid double or triple what the money market would pay you, you would buy that Stretch instrument. And if you got a massively high risk tolerance in your Bitcoin Maxi, you would buy the equity and the other credit instruments for people in the middle.
자, 투자자의 성향이 보수적인지, 중간 위험인지, 또는 아예 더 큰 리스크도 감수할 수 있는 비트코인 맥시인지에 따라서 어떤 상품에 투자하면 좋을지 설명하고 있었습니다. 자, 먼저 Bitcoin is the baseline 이라고 하면 비트코인은 모든 디지털 자산 투자에서 기준, 즉 출발점이라는 의미죠.
Bitcoin is the baseline.
비트코인은 다른 상품을 평가하는 기준, 즉 베이스라인으로 본다는 뜻입니다. 그래서 Bitcoin is the baseline asset for their strategy. 비트코인이 베이스라인이기 때문에 포트폴리오의 기준 자산으로 삼는다라는 뜻이죠.
You would buy Bitcoin because it comes without that counterparty risk.
그리고 counterparty risk는 한국어로도 사실 그냥 영어 그대로 쓰는 경우도 많은데요. 어떤 거래 상대가 계약을 이행하지 못할 그런 위험을 의미합니다. 상대방의 파산이나 부도 위험 때문에 돈을 못 받는 그런 리스크죠. 근데 비트코인은 그런 리스크가 없다는 말입니다.
Our equity is amplified Bitcoin.
자, amplified Bitcoin equity라는 표현이 나왔습니다. 원래 amplify라고 하면 증폭시키다, 강화하다, 확대하다라는 뜻이죠. 그래서 직역하자면 증폭된 비트코인 equity라는 뜻인데요. 즉 비트코인 가격 움직임보다 더 큰 폭으로 등락하는, 그러니까 비트코인 보유와 레버리지가 결합된 투자 수단을 의미합니다. 비트코인이 오르면 더 많이 오르고 내리면 더 많이 내리는 증폭된 BTC 연동 주식을 의미하죠. 인터뷰에서 세일러는 회사의 주식이 비트코인을 레버리지한 형태이기 때문에 변동성이 더 크다고 말했습니다.
And talk to me about the nuance of being a tax-free dividend yield that you're looking at here.
Yeah, well, the beauty of a digital credit instrument that's issued by a treasury company like ours is we fund the dividends by selling equity. And when you fund the dividends by selling equity, then the dividend becomes a return of capital. And as a return of capital, it means there is no tax on the dividend. So when you're getting 10%, you're getting 10% cash dividend yield. And what happens is your basis in the instrument is reduced by the cash dividend. So if you buy a $100 share and you get a $10 dividend a year, then your basis goes to 90, and then after the second year it goes to 80, and after the third year it goes to 70. But for the next 10 years, you have no tax. You don't pay qualified dividend. You don't pay long-term capital gains tax. You don't pay ordinary income. You just get a return of capital. So that means the tax equivalent yield of one of these instruments is like 16 to 20%. It's like a bank that pays you 20% interest. And so that's a very special thing. It's because we're built on Bitcoin. A treasury company built on Bitcoin is the most tax efficient fixed income generator in the world.
자, 세금 없는 배당 구조라는 새로운 내용에 대해 말하고 있습니다. 여기서 Digital Credit Instrument는 블록체인 같은 디지털 레저 위에서 발행되거나 기록되는 크레딧 금융 상품을 의미합니다.
The beauty of a digital credit instrument that's issued by a treasury company like ours is we fund the dividends by selling equity.
온체인으로 발행되는 디지털 채권 같은 것들일 수도 있겠죠. 그리고 우리가 투자를 하면 받게 되는 돈 중에서 cash dividend yield가 있는데요. 주가 대비 지급된 현금 배당의 비율을 의미하는데요. 예를 들어 주식을 사면 연간 몇 프로의 현금이 배당으로 돌아오는가를 의미합니다.
So when you're getting 10%, you're getting 10% cash dividend yield.
The fund offers a 10% cash dividend yield 라고 하면 이 상품은 연간 10%의 현금 배당 수익률을 제공합니다 라는 뜻입니다.
And I've seen this evolution of what you're doing in the Bitcoin industry. So 5 years ago when we started talking, it was very much about this digital asset treasury strategy, which we're going to loop back around to in a minute because so many people have been following in your footsteps there. But as of late, there's been this evolution into digital credit, which we've just been talking about. And we're here at a payments conference, but Bitcoin isn't about that payment element. It's not about the transactional nature of cryptocurrency. It is kind of about this dual structure of a credit offering. Can you talk to me about how your thinking has evolved in that?
I think the crypto industry has evolved over the past 12 months into two different sides. There's the digital capital side of the industry, and Bitcoin is digital capital, a long-term store of value, and digital credit instruments that are built on top of that capital. So we're accumulating the capital and we're selling the credit. On the other hand, there's digital finance. And the digital finance part of the industry is tokenized currencies, tokenized securities, tokenized brands. And that's all of the proof of stake networks and all the crypto exchanges and the stable coins and all the tokenized stocks and tokenized bonds and the meme coins. And that entire business is going through a Cambrian explosion of innovation as well.
마이클 세일러는 지난 12개월 동안 암호화폐 산업이 두 갈래의 명확한 방향으로 진화했다고 생각합니다.
There's the digital capital side of the industry, and Bitcoin is digital capital, a long-term store of value.
하나는 디지털 자본, digital capital 측면이고요.
On the other hand, there's digital finance.
다른 하나는 디지털 금융, digital finance의 측면인데요. 먼저 이 비트코인은 장기적인 가치 저장 수단, long-term store of value이자 그 위에 디지털 크레딧 상품이 구축되는 디지털 자본입니다. 즉 기반 자산이죠. 반면에 이제 디지털 금융, digital finance는 토큰화된 통화, 토큰화된 증권 같은 것들이 있다고 말했습니다. 그리고 여기서 이 토큰화라는 것은 주식이나 채권, 통화 등등 실제 자산이 블록체인 토큰 형태로 전환되는 것을 의미하죠.
And JP Morgan is now willing to accept Bitcoin as collateral. At least they said that they intended to do that. Talk to me about that component where you're seeing Wall Street banks lean into Bitcoin as collateral. What is that?
Yeah, I think the most exciting thing is 12 months ago, you couldn't get a loan against Bitcoin or a loan against wrapped Bitcoin like an ETF like IBIT. You couldn't get those loans from any major bank in the nation. And now what you see is that Bank of America, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, BNY Mellon are all beginning to embrace this asset class. You see other innovative banks, Charles Schwab, Texas Capital, they're offering pretty progressive credit terms against either IBIT, and now even many of those banks are starting to talk about offering credit against underlying Bitcoin. I think in 2026, we'll start to see some of these major banks like Citi custody Bitcoin, BNY Mellon start to custody Bitcoin, and companies like JP Morgan start to issue credit against it. I think it's all very auspicious for the entire industry.
자, 불과 12개월 전만 해도 비트코인을 담보로 대출받을 수 있는 주요 은행은 단 한 곳도 없었는데 지금은 상황이 달라졌다고 합니다. 그리고 이제 실제 비트코인 자체를 담보로 대출하는 논의를 진행하고 있다고 하니까요. 아주 큰 변화라고 할 수 있겠는데요.
And JP Morgan is now willing to accept Bitcoin as collateral. At least they said that they intended to do that.
자, 그리고 여기서 collateral은 담보라는 뜻이니까 accept Bitcoin as collateral 이라고 하면 대출 담보로 비트코인을 인정한다는 거죠. 비트코인을 맡기면 그 가치를 담보로 돈을 빌려줄 수 있다라는 뜻입니다. Some banks now accept Bitcoin as collateral. 일부 은행이 이제 비트코인을 담보로 대출을 승인합니다.
I think the most exciting thing is 12 months ago you couldn't get a loan against Bitcoin.
자, 그리고 또 비슷한 말이죠. Get a loan against Bitcoin. 비트코인을 담보로 해서 대출받는 것을 의미합니다. 비트코인을 맡기고 현금을 빌린다는 뜻이죠.
Some of these major banks like Citi custody Bitcoin, BNY Mellon start to custody Bitcoin.
그리고 이럴 때 꼭 필요한 것이 바로 고객의 비트코인을 안전하게 보관, 수탁하는 서비스겠죠. 바로 custody라고 하죠. 그래서 custody bitcoin이라고 하면 은행처럼 비트코인을 대신 안전하게 보관해준다는 의미입니다. Major banks are planning to custody bitcoin for clients. 대형 은행들이 비트코인 커스터디 서비스를 제공하려고 하고 있습니다.
I was wondering when they were going to start doing that because you saw the SAB 121 roll back. And I mean, we have the Genius Act passed into law, but that's not the crypto market infrastructure bill that seemed like it was what was standing in the way of banks getting comfortable with custodying crypto. But are they going to do that absent further hard and fast rules from Capitol Hill?
It looks like the train has left the station and now everybody's moving forward.
Are you pleased with what you're seeing out of Washington, from whether it's the White House or lawmakers?
I think the entire administration has been, and the Senate and the House have all been just very, very positive toward digital assets consistently for the past 12 months. I think we've seen a lot of very positive initiatives out of Treasury. You see enormous positive initiatives from the SEC. And now you see we've got a new designated head of the CFTC who's very positive on digital assets in the entire crypto industry. I think the White House could be more supportive. So I think that this 12 months has been probably the best 12 months in the history of the industry, because what you got was the White House endorsing Bitcoin as digital gold. Then you got the SEC saying we expect that securities will be tokenized on chain and we're going to support it. You got the Secretary of the Treasury endorsing stable coins and saying we believe that the future of the US dollar currency is to be tokenized and exported to the world, and we're going to support that. And now you've got a pro-crypto head of the CFTC. When you put that together with all the other cabinet members like RFK, like Tulsi Gabbard, like Howard Lutnick, etc., that are coming out with very pro-Bitcoin, pro-crypto initiatives, I just really don't think the industry could ask for much more.
자, 세일러는 지난 12개월 동안 미 행정부, 상원, 하원 모두 디지털 자산에 지속적으로 긍정적이었다고 말하고 있습니다. 즉 미국 정부가 전반적으로 이 산업을 공식적으로 인정하고 지원하는 단계에 들어섰다는 것인데요. 그럴 때 중요한 것 중에 하나가 바로 시행된 규제나 정책을 되돌리거나 완화하는 것이 될 수 있겠죠. 그래서 rollback은 규제를 뒤로 빼주다, 완화하다라는 뜻입니다.
I was wondering when they were going to start doing that because you saw the SAB 121 roll back.
우리나라 말로도 그냥 롤백이라고 많이 하죠. 이번에 카카오톡 업데이트 됐던 거 롤백 안 된다라는 기사 기억나실 거예요.
It's been incredible to see what's come out of the SEC with respect to crypto-friendly policies or rollbacks of policies that weren't all that advantageous to the sector. You said the White House could be doing more. What would you like to see from them?
Well, I think that they've done everything that they need to do at this point. Most of the work to be done is going to be done by the banking establishment in the Western world. I think it's, at this point, the industry is going to 10x. It's going to increase by a factor of 10 based upon activities that are taking place at JP Morgan, at Wells Fargo, at Bank of America, at Morgan Stanley. at BNY Mellon. It's the big household brands at Citi, right? They're the ones that are going to introduce Bitcoin and digital assets to the next billion people.
This was the summer of the DAT trades, the digital asset treasury companies that kept springing up, whether it was holding Bitcoin or Solana or name your altcoin. What do you think of this? I mean, it's flattery or imitation, the greatest form of flattery is imitation, or whatever the phrase is. What is your take on all of these DATs? Is it a good thing for the industry? Is it oversaturated at this point?
I think there was only one company that was capitalized on a digital asset in 2020 when we did it. We were the first. And then there were about 10, and then there were 20, and about a year ago there were 60, and then there were 120, and now we're exploding to 250. I think it's indicative of the digital transformation of the capital markets. I think we're going to see 500 companies, then 1,000, then 2,000, then 5,000. Eventually, I don't know why every forward-thinking company wouldn't start to hold some digital assets on their balance sheets. So I think it's an idea whose time has come. I think it'll be good for the entire industry, the digital assets industry. But I think it's also good for the 50,000 publicly traded companies that aren't capitalized on digital assets. It's like saying, well, I've noticed 250 companies have the internet and have a website now. How many, is that good or bad for you? And I think eventually every company has electricity, and every company has a website, and every company will have digital assets because there's smarter, faster, stronger ways to create shareholder value. And then I think the store of value, the capital asset in the digital economy will be Bitcoin. These AIs are going to want to capitalize on Bitcoin. If you want to release something into cyberspace and have it live forever, how are you going to capitalize it? You're going to load it up with some Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is going to continue to appreciate in value. So you don't need to be a person to own Bitcoin. And you don't need to be a person to move stable coins around. And one thing I'm sure is that people are not going to think as quick, and they're not going to be as smart, and they're not going to work as hard as the robots and the AIs are. So it'll be a digital economy on digital rails with digital currency and digital capital, and that again is auspicious for the industry, but also it's good for the human race.
세일러는 모든 혁신적인 기업들이 결국 디지털 자산을 보유하는 시대가 될 거라고 말하고 있는데요. 마치 예전에 인터넷이나 전기처럼 이제 필수가 되어가고 있는 거죠. 자, 이렇게 관련 기업들이 빠르게 생겨나다, 우후죽순으로 등장한다 라고 할 때 쓸 수 있는 표현은 바로 spring up입니다.
This was the summer of the DAT trades, the digital asset treasury companies that kept springing up, whether it was holding Bitcoin or Solana.
여기저기 새로 생겨난다 라는 뜻입니다. New companies are springing up everywhere.
But I think it's also good for the 50,000 publicly traded companies that aren't capitalized on digital assets.
자, 비즈니스에서 자주 등장하는 표현이죠. 무언가를 활용해서 어떻게 돈을 벌어올 것인가 라고 말할 때 떠오르는 표현입니다. capitalize는 자본화하다, 자금을 확보하다 또는 기회를 활용하다 라는 뜻입니다. 문맥에 따라서는 돈을 넣다, 기회를 이용하다 라고도 해석할 수가 있습니다. They capitalize on the trend to expand their business. 기업이 기회를 잘 활용해서 시장 우위를 잡았다는 거죠.
I'd be remiss not to ask you about where the industry is headed with respect to the markets and the price charts and all of that. And I say that keeping in mind that we saw this huge surge in the price as we saw the spot Bitcoin ETFs come online and a lot of that institutional money flow in. And that was absent, to your point, the banks actually custodying the cryptocurrencies themselves, which has been seen as another potential unlock. With these digital asset treasury strategies, also more upside, it seems, in the crypto in the crypto charts. Talk to me about where you see Bitcoin hitting at the end of the year and in a year from now when we're back at this conference.
Well, I think Bitcoin's going to continue to grind up. I think the volatility is coming off of it as the industry becomes more structured with more derivatives and more ways to hedge it. Our expectation right now is end of the year, it should be about $150,000. And that's the consensus of the equity analysts that cover our company and the Bitcoin industry right now. I don't know why it won't grind up to $1 million a coin over the next 4 to 8 years. I would think not less than 4, not more than 8. And of course, my long-term forecast is it goes up about 30% a year for the next 20 years, and we're headed toward $20 million Bitcoin.
Michael, thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
자, 이렇게 오늘은 비트코인의 전망에 대한 인터뷰를 살펴봤는데요. 오늘 영상이 재밌으셨다면 좋아요와 구독 부탁드립니다. 감사합니다.